guys, I'm Megan. Welcome to our Daring Faith series. We're so glad that you are here joining us this week. In this series, we're learning all about how we can be people of daring faith. We'll be looking at different people in the Bible who had incredible faith in God and learn how we can have the same unwavering faith in God too. To help better understand this, we're going to sing a song about our memory verse, which is Ephesians 3:20, and it says, "With God's power working in us, God can do much, much more than anything we can ask or imagine." Let's sing it together.
With God's power working in us, God can do much, much more than anything we can ask or imagine. Ephesians 3:20. With God's power working in us, God can do much, much more than anything we can ask or imagine. Ephesians 3:20. With God's power working in us, God can do much, much more than anything we can ask or imagine. Ephesians 3:20.
That was a great song. That worship song teaches us that God can do such incredible things. He has great things planned for our lives. He can do big things that may seem impossible for us, but with God on our side, anything is possible. Now it's time to watch our Bible story, where we see an example of how we can have daring faith and how we can depend on God in all situations. Let's watch and see what happens.
There once was a giant named Goliath who taunted the Israelite army, yelling terrible things about God and hurling insults at them. The Israelites were terrified of him. Even King Saul was afraid. Goliath asked for one Israelite soldier to fight him, man to man, but no one would come forward except for a young shepherd boy named David. David went to King Saul of the Israelites and said, "I will fight Goliath. I am not afraid." King Saul doubted David because he was only a boy, and he said, "Don't be ridiculous. There's no way you can win." But David told Saul about how he had scared off and killed fierce and wild animals that had tried to get his father's sheep, and how he used his shepherd's staff and his slingshot to protect the flock. David knew that with God on his side, he could do the same to Goliath. So King Saul let David go, but he made David try on his own armor to use as protection. The armor was heavy and clunky, and David was not used to it, so he chose to leave the armor behind. He knew in his heart that he only needed God's protection, his slingshot, and 5 smooth stones to defeat the giant. Goliath laughed at David when he approached him, calling him bad names and taunting him too. But David was not afraid. He said to Goliath, "God will hand you over to me, and I will strike you down. It is God who will conquer you, and I will win." And so, David put one smooth stone into his slingshot, aimed right at Goliath, and fired. Goliath fell to the ground, dead. And so, the giant was defeated by a young shepherd boy named David.
What a great Bible story. This Bible story helped us to learn more about how we can believe in God even when we are facing difficult circumstances. We can take comfort in knowing that God's promises are true. God's word tells us that He will always be with us and that He loves us more than we can ever imagine. Now it's time to hear from Pastor Steve and learn more about how we can be people of daring faith. Let's watch it together.
Hi guys. Now, the story of David and Goliath is a popular story, and a lot of you have heard that story before. And in the story, Goliath really was this big, mean, ugly giant, and he was coming against God's people, and no one wanted to fight him. And here's little David, just a little guy, but he trusted that God would be with him, and he faced Goliath and he defeated him. Now, Goliath, actually for you and I, is represented in things like bullies, problems, these obstacles that come our way and we don't really know how we're going to fight them. And it may be an actual bully at school. It may be something going on at home. It may be something that you're afraid of, that you just don't know how you're going to be able to overcome. And what David and Goliath, the story of David and Goliath, it tells us that God will be with us. We can trust God to fight our battles and know that nothing in our life is so big that it can overcome God. We can have daring faith just like David. And we're going to see in just a few minutes our friends in space, those interesting characters, Hank and Charlie. We're going to watch as they show trust as well. See you guys.
Wow! Pastor Steve helped us to understand how we can have daring faith by believing and trusting in God's promises. Regardless of what we're going through, we can choose to have daring faith by believing in who God says He is. Now, we're going to watch an episode of Daring Faith where we will see two brothers, Hank and Charlie, embark on a journey together to space. They are on a mission to save the world. Let's watch it together.
This is turn right, then go right. Turn where you see the bulldog. The bulldog. Is that a live bulldog? This is hopeless. Keep an open mind. Open mind.
I was going to, and then I introduced you. Let me at least open the door. Get up! So great.
Who are you?
Oh, Grandma, this is Sue, the lady that I was telling you about from the space program.
Who are you?
I'm Hank, I'm your grandson. This is Charlie, your other grandson.
Hey, Grandma.
We're doing a little meeting in this room. So what do you say we get you back in that kitchen and you finish that sandwich, okay? Come on, how about that?
Henry! I can't find my socks.
Grandma, my name's Hank, and your socks are on your feet, okay? So come on, let's get back to that sandwich, okay? Come on. Love you. Grandma's, right?
Okay, so I'm here because the two of you have been selected by the committee.
We've been selected.
If you could just let me finish,
I
Mr.
told you they were
Dasher.
gonna pick us, man.
Please,
You gotta trust me.
Mr. Dasher, if I could just continue. The two of you have been selected to participate in our pre-screening process.
Screening's good, right?
So you've made it past level 1, which was essentially just a mail-in response. And now we'll be asking you to participate in some intellectual and physical tests.
I need you to be honest with me for 1 second. Are we going to space?
That has yet to be determined.
Sue, is it?
Yes.
See, what my idiotic brother here so excited about is the fact that we've been practically planning our entire lives to fly a ship to space.
I have collected every Star Wars ship
Every single
since I was
one.
like 8 years old.
See, the selected candidates won't actually be flying the spacecraft. It's going to be manned remotely from Earth. But once you are in the orbit of the second moon, you will be asked to perform certain tasks.
Okay. What do you mean by remotely?
Okay, here are your instructions. You have 24 hours to respond. And if you'd like to proceed, then go ahead and call that number and give us the information that's on that form. So, you two follow the news, right?
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, we watched the game the other night.
The
and-
stocks have been up
Yeah,
and down.
President's talk was so good.
So you're aware of the other spacecrafts that have attempted to enter the second orbit and the other inherent dangers with a mission like this.
Well, I mean, I would not pertain to saying that we are digressively inherent about anything, but we are interested.
Okay, we'll be in contact.
We're going to the moon.
It's not our moon.
But it's still a moon. I'm gonna meet Jar Jar Binks.
Hank! Yeah? Are we dead yet? What? I said, are we dead yet? No! At least I don't think so. Okay. That's good.
How are you guys doing?
Good! We're doing great!
The vibrations you're currently experiencing are normal and will halt in about 4 seconds.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that. The shaking seems rather noticeable. This isn't so bad. The worst of it's over.
You're doing great. We still have the hard part ahead of us. Okay, guys, you're gonna feel a slight jolt in a second when we release the external tank.
Copy that. Hank? Yeah.
I'm having a bit of a situation.
What's up?
I have to use the little boy's room.
Now?
Yeah, right now.
I told you to go before we boarded. You didn't go?
In about 10 minutes, we're going to fire the Phase 2 OMS rockets and you'll start the second part of the trip. When you reach a stable position in the new moon's orbit, you'll be able to get out of your flight seats. Until then, stay put in case we encounter something unexpected.
I do understand what you're saying, but clearly if you just look at the data, you can
We've
see...
looked at the data, and I've tried to explain it to...
Mr. Allen, Miss Williams, I have been told that you are two of the most brilliant minds in the world. You have been invited because I have a proposal I would like to discuss with you.
Before we waste any more time, could you please tell us why you feel that you're going to be able to do something that nobody else in the world has been able to do?
First of all, let's be clear. No one's holding you against your will. You are free to go if you choose to do so. We just hoped that you had the same goal we did, to save the world.
Allow me to introduce our honored guest. This is Captain Edward Kratz.
The Captain Kratz, the one aboard the US Firebird.
Yes, ma'am.
But But that ship was lost. Everyone aboard that ship was lost.
Obviously, not all the information has reached the public. For the next few hours, Captain Kratz is going to share his top secret information about the NASA mission. What I'd like from you is to set aside your doubts and imagine that buried amongst all this chaos is a solution. All we have to do is find it.
Charlie, would you sit still? Not even out of the stratosphere yet, and you're driving me crazy.
Hank, I can't hold it anymore.
Just chill out.
I have to go. Right now.
What am I supposed to do? Just sit here by myself? This is just great. What if I think of something funny to say?
We experienced engine failure before we made the second jump, and once the firing system was back online, the decision was to continue. Then about 45 seconds before we initiated the second burn, I received an encrypted message instructing me to get myself and my crew to the escape pod and jettison the ship immediately.
So none of the ships have ever made it past the second orbit?
That is correct.
Well, not yet. But now that we know the truth, we can address the real issue. And what we need from you is to design a propulsion system that can push past the first orbit and take into account the gravitational pull from the new moon.
Even if we were capable of designing such a system, who would we find to man the ship? Given the past history, they'd have to be a complete idiot.
Thank you. Thanks everyone for coming out. You've been great. So I mean, what's up with airplane food? Am I right?
Shake it off. Hoo-hoo.
Mr. President, the documents are here. I'm not the president, you're an alien. What? I need $1 million on my desk by Monday.
Bow. Bow. Shake it off.
Okay, in about 2 minutes, we're going to fire the Phase 2 OMS rockets, and you'll start the second part of the trip.
Copy that. Attention, Gold Leader. We are not currently operational. We are currently, one issue. Charlie is minus this room. We request, an extension of time before pre-launch sequence, please. Charlie, we're taking off! Get back here!
What a great episode of Daring Faith! We learned more about Hank and Charlie's mission while seeing how the two of them got themselves into a hilarious situation. Remember, in order for Hank and Charlie to accomplish their mission to save the world, they will need to have Daring Faith. Now it's time to join Space Go for our Daring Faith quiz, where we will get to see how much we remember from our Bible story. If you think you know the answer, make sure to shout it out! Let's go ahead and join Space Go for our Daring Faith quiz.
Challenger. For thousands of years, people have looked up to the stars and wondered what's beyond. Thoughts of distant galaxies, strange planets, and possibly even life unlike any we've known on Earth. But no one could have ever imagined in the deep expanse of our universe lives one furry creature with 4 legs and a jetpack. Bah. His name is Space Goat, and he's here to help you, and he's here to help us, here to help us answer life's toughest questions. How tall was Goliath? Over 9 feet? 1,000 inches? 3 feet? Exactly! Goliath was over 9 feet tall. Well done, cadets. Goliath was part of what army? The hamster army? The Philistine army? The Syrian army? Yes, indeed, Goliath was in fact part of the Philistine army. Well done. What gave David the confidence that he would win against Goliath? He read it in a fortune cookie? He trusted that God was on his side? Or he lifted a lot of weights? Perfect! David trusted that God was on his side. Until next time, stay spacey, cadets.
Challenger, go and throttle up.
Great job on that quiz. Remember, we can have daring faith by putting our hope and trust in God at all times. He knows what's best for us and promises to always take care of us. Well, that's it for today. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time.